In this video, we're going to show you how to install the windshield washer reservoir in your Cadillac Escalade located inside the front portion of the vehicle. We'll pull off the center cap here using your trim tool. Find a little notch here. Twist that off. Set the cover aside. Using a 22mm socket, we're going to loosen and remove our lug nuts. If your vehicle has a locking key on it, go ahead and use the locking key and remove that lug nut. Once you have the lug nuts removed, remove the wheel and set it aside. We're going to remove these two 10mm bolts on the front side of the splash guard. After we do that, we're going to follow along the inside of the fender liner here and undo the plastic push pins and the T15 Torx bit screws around the inside liner so we can pull this out, allowing us to access the washer reservoir. Using our trim tool, I want to release this plastic retainer here. Pop that out. Using a 7mm socket, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove these two right here. Using a T15 Torx bit, I want to go ahead and loosen and remove these here. Now we are removing all of these here to remove the splash guard. You can pull back the splash guard from the front section and leave the back half bolted up. However, you do risk damaging the splash guard because it is not plastic. You don't want to damage that or crack it. Now once you remove this last screw, the liner should drop out. Pull that out and set it aside. Now our reservoir has two bolts at the bottom side, one on the top here and another one on the top here. The two bottom ones are located back here. And once we undo the two top bolts, this whole unit is going to drop down from below. Removing the liner and the tire makes it a lot easier to access everything here and have room to wiggle things out. Using our 10mm socket and extension and power tool here, you can use a hand ratchet if you want to. We're going to loosen and remove the bolts securing the battery tray in place. Now, if your vehicle obviously has a battery here, you want to go ahead and remove it. This would be the auxiliary battery tray. We're going to use a 10mm gear wrench. And there's a bolt back here that is securing our harness and computer stuff in place. Remove that bolt. And right here on the back side, we have one more 10mm bolt to go ahead and remove. Now this wiring harness coming down, there was a plastic push button right here securing this harness here. We're going to use our trim tool, get underneath, pop that up to separate that harness. Pull that battery tray up and out. We're going to go ahead and remove the 10mm bolt here on the top portion of the tank. Remove the two lower 10mm bolts. Now you want to be prepared as you're removing the last bolt. Now as we're pulling our tank out, you can see the pressure being pulled on the pump motor here. The wiring harness in the back is held into the body. You want to disconnect the little plastic tree there. That's going to release a little bit of pressure here. We're going to disconnect our electrical connectors here and here. Now the connectors here, I'm going to use a small pick. Go up underneath. Unlock that one. And do the same for this black one here. Just get that pick in there and pop that one off. Now on the far left here, we have a red safety clip. You can pop that with your finger. I'm just going to use my pick while I'm here. Bring up that red safety lock, push it on this little tab. Wiggle that off. Remove our plastic lines here. And at this point, we have two pumps, one for the back and one for the front of the vehicle. We're going to disconnect these lines here. We do have a catch can underneath to catch fluid. And take your new tank. Go ahead and install our connector here and push this on, and then put our lock in. Press on our hoses. We have our harness over here. We need to press into place. Then we have our two connectors here. We're going to press those onto our pump motors. Once those are all connected, let's push our tank up into place and install our two lower bolts to secure the bottom half. Now we're not going to tighten these down yet. We just want to gently snug them. We don't want to tighten anything yet until we get everything installed on the top side. I'm going to install our battery tray. Drop this down into place. Make sure that the battery tray lip is underneath this box. We're going to install the bolt over here and then the other one on our reservoir tank. Get those started by hand first. Now remember, just catch all of these bolts a few threads, not going to tighten them yet. Now as you're installing these here, you can pay attention to the dirt marks where they line up with the washers. So when we go to tighten this down, we'll have a basic preliminary setting, just kind of line things back up with those dirt marks. And then we can go ahead and snug those down after. Now that we have all 7 bolts in for our battery tray here, I'm going to go ahead and install the 2 bolts for the box right here. All right, we got that bolt started. Let's get the one on the back installed. Now when tightening these down, you want to make sure that the bolts are good and snug, but you don't want to over tighten. So once you feel that bolt bottom out, go a little bit more, snug it down. We'll install this plastic push pin right here. Install your fender liner. Now this is nice because it's molded and it kind of forms itself right into place. You just want to tuck this up properly. The next step is we're going to throw in a couple screws on the top here just to hold it in place. Now I'm not going to tighten this down yet. I just want these screws to pretty much be supportive. All right, we have 3 installed on the top. We're just going to continue working around the perimeter here, get these installed. On the bottom section here, don't forget you have your plastic trim molding right here that's going to line up. Now these last 2 screws here, these are the actual little bolt style. So you should have 2 of those available. And on the very bottom, right here, is where your plastic push pin is going to go. Line that up, put that in, and push in the center. Now that we have all of our screws, bolts, and plastic push pins in, let's go back and tighten all of them down. Just snug it down once that bolt bottoms out, just a little bit more. Do the same up top here. Okay, it's bottomed out a little bit more. Let's go ahead and snug all these down. We're going to continue the process all the way around until we're finished up. On the front lower portion, we need to install our last 2 bolts. And go ahead and snug those down. You want to be careful with these here because you just tighten them into plastic. So once they bottom out, just snug them a little bit more and you're good. Go ahead and install your wheel. And we're going to get all of our lug nuts started by hand first. Once these are on, we're going to come back and snug them down. Torque down your lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds. Install the center cap. You're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.